I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. It's still time to go for gold. I'm talking about some of my Brazilian recipes that are gold medal winners today on SoFlo Taste. This is South Florida. It's where I live and work. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein. South Florida is more than sun, sand, and sea. It's a lifestyle of fashion, sound, culture, and of course, food. Food with taste from all over the world. Join me as we celebrate the food of South Florida and the people who love it. Join me as we experience SoFlo Taste. Hola, bem-vinda, taste buds. I'm Chef Michelle Bernstein and welcome to SoFlo Taste at the Aprons Cooking School at Publix here in Plantation. Today we are celebrating the foods of Brazil. I thought it would be fun to show you some gold medal recipes for some great Brazilian food. We've done it before, but now we're going to do it even better. So let's get cooking. We're going to start with a recipe called empadão de frango. It is a chicken pot pie, but it's a Brazilian chicken pot pie. I'm going to get started by making the filling, which is a bit of olive oil, some onions, and garlic to start. And once these get a little bit on the soft side, I'll add some flour because you want this to be super flavorful, a little bit on the moist side with a nice dough. We made it really quick shortbread dough. Let me show you how easy this is. It's a short crust pastry, kind of like a pâte brisée, a regular pie dough without sugar. You take all-purpose flour, and if you are gluten-free, you can do this with gluten-free flour. Exact amounts, by the way. A good amount of butter. So butter, salt, and flour all goes into a food processor and let it just turn into what's kind of like a cornmeal. And don't forget about your onions and your garlic while you're doing that. So these have gotten nice and soft. I'm going to add a little bit of flour to that to already start the thickening process. And luckily, nothing really needs to cook here. What I'm doing is bringing everything together, giving it a nice, good texture and consistency and flavor, and that'll be the filling for the empadão. So this has come together like a nice cornmeal. It's basically the same texture as cornmeal. And then little by little, I'll just add a little bit of water till it just comes together. And this is a lot of dough, so it took a good amount of water. And it's just starting to come together, so I'll just pulse it. And here you go. So you see how this is just starting to come together? Now you just pull all this out, bring it all together, wrap it in saran wrap, plastic wrap, and throw it into your fridge. We took a whole chicken from Delaware Chicken Farm and Seafood Market and we poached it in some chicken stock, peeled it, boned it, and just pulled all the meat. We kept some of that chicken stock for the juiciness of the filling. So next ingredients, I'm taking some corn, tomatoes that are nice and cut up, diced small. You can use canned tomatoes if you want to. I just like the fresh bits of tomatoes in there. Some peas, frozen peas. That chicken goes right in. Now I'm gonna add the chicken broth, and I don't even defat it. The more the fat that goes into the filling, the better and creamier it's gonna be. So I'm gonna raise that up to high, and all this kind of just blends together, and then I add a little bit of heavy cream, a very small amount. This is literally a quarter cup of heavy cream, so it's not much, and it just kind of brought it all together, and a little bit of tomato sauce. Try not to get a strong tasting tomato sauce, something super bland, which is not something that usually comes out of my mouth, but what you want is the flavor of the corn and the peas to come out. So this is already starting to thicken nicely and come together. I'm going to add the olives because I really want them and all their juice to really flavor this well. Yeah, it's all getting really nice and thick and creamy. I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper and some parsley to this. Now, if you can see the consistency of this and see how nice and creamy it's become, and you really want this filling to be really well chilled before you move on because you don't want to put a hot filling into a beautiful pastry. So I'm going to pour the filling into a little dish and throw it into a cooler. And when it's really nice and chilled, we can move on. Now we're going to jump right into another recipe called bolino de bacalhau. It is a codfish fritter. You can find dried salt codfish in most supermarkets. Obviously it's very salty because it's salted and dried, and it can be a little intense, but if you soak it for 2 days, change that water as much as you can, and then just chop it up really fine like I have here, and it's ready to go. I'm just gonna saute onions, garlic. It takes 2 eggs. You separate them. Amanda's gonna go ahead and whip the egg white until nice and stiff. I love to fold whipped egg whites into all my fritters because it lightens them up. And I just soften the onions and the garlic. It's not a long cook, and they go right in with the codfish. Then I'm gonna take a couple of potatoes. I'm using Yukon Gold. You cook them in their jackets to keep as much starch in them as possible. And the jackets peel right off, and then you place them into your food ricer, like so. For flavor, I'm adding a little bit of tiny minced serrano chilies or jalapenos, it's up to you. I'm also using cilantro and parsley. Bring all that together. My codfish recipe starts with some milk because I really like a true batter. And then the egg yolks go right in, and then the flour. And a little bit of baking powder. And then fold in those 2 egg whites. So I have oil set here at 350. So I'm just going to use a spoon to spoon this in, and hopefully they'll puff nicely. So I'll plop it right into the oil. And these are going to be really light and puffy. I love the fritters when they come out really light and puffy like a donut. So that's how I decided to make these. Ooh, these are beautiful. So you see how puffy they've become? That's what I'm looking for. The one thing you want to do, you can make your batter ahead of time, maybe in the morning, and then when your guests arrive, you'll want to fry fresh. There's nothing like serving a fritter just as it comes out of the oil. And here they are. And look how beautiful they turn out. They're golden, and you just want to top them with a little bit of salt, just a little bit of lime next to it. I'm going to go ahead and dig in, and I'll see y'all in a minute to keep going with our delicious Brazilian recipes. SoFlo Taste will return right after this.
Up until now, SoFlo Taste has been all about people food. I'm Melinda Harper on the road for SoFlo Taste, and as a dog lover, I'm putting an end to this people food streak right now. I'm here with Chef Lolly at Doggy Bag Cafe, where she prepares meals for our 4-legged best friends with as much love and care as we 2-legged folk get. I'm here with my good friend Chef Lolly of Doggy Bag Cafe and Chef Eddie. Chef Lolly, show us what we're going to do today.
Well, today we're going to have a lot of fun because we're going to create 2 of our signature drinks, our Arfpetizer Canine Cocktail and then our Dogzert Canine Cocktail. One is made with grass-fed beef that we have here.
Okay.
Okay, and we're going to use some breadcrumbs that are gluten-free. I actually put some of their food in the processor, and that way I can make like a little meal for them.
Okay.
And it adds all the vitamins that they like, plus all the extra food. We put in an organic egg, and there you have it. But I have a little trick. When you make the meatballs, or Miami mud balls as we call them, you actually should roll them 20 times.
20 times?
Not 19 or 21, 20, and they come out perfect like this.
Oh, wow.
So now from here, we're gonna go ahead and get 4 of the meatballs.
Okay.
Which are now cooled and ready for you to cut up a little bit, and we'll let you know how we're gonna do this.
All right.
Before we start, see the stems? We can either fill them with peas,
okay,
or we can actually fill them
with
carrots.
And so all of these foods, not only are they good for people,
they're excellent for the doggies.
What made you decide to start cooking for animals?
Well, actually, this started about 12 years ago with my English bulldogs that I adopted, and it turned out that they were so allergic to over 28 items, including foods, I tried raw at first, but I was very concerned about cross-contamination. So then I did a lot of research with a lot of local veterinarians and came up with the recipes, and here we are. Okay, so now what we're actually going to do is we're going to line the cups.
Okay.
We're actually going to scoop out one good one of sweet potato mash.
Alrighty.
Put it right in the middle. Perfect. We actually have zucchini,
Okay.
which is great for them. So here you go, you can just put that in the little corner. And then
Beautiful.
we put a little swizzle of Greek yogurt.
Oh, nice.
And one blueberry, which is our signature that we put on all of our foods. And there you go, a canine cocktail.
That's amazing. All right, everybody, it's time to feed our dogs. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Chef, it looked like the dogs really enjoyed those appetizers.
I think they did, and so did you.
They did. It was so good.
It was pretty good.
So what's up next on the menu?
Okay, the second canine cocktail we're doing is actually a dessert.
Okay.
And that is made, we use organic Greek yogurt and peanut butter that's organic also. Just pour a couple of scoops in there.
How much peanut butter to yogurt is our ratio?
It's 3 to 1.
Okay.
Then again, we have our signature blueberry.
This one seems really
Really
easy
simple.
to make for your pet.
And then we just garnish it with one of our peanut butter.
Cheers to Lilo with the nice barcarita. Cheers, Lilo. Woo.
Okay, buddy.
Even my fabulous fur babies, Buddy and Miso, had a howlin' good time. Thank you, Chef Lolly and Chef Eddie, so much for inviting us to Lilo's birthday party today. It was amazing.
Thank you.
The dogs had a great time. What better way to top off a canine birthday party or any type of party than with a canine cocktail and a Cuban sugar.
Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. I'm showing you some of the best things from Brazil. Sorry guys, I don't mean Gisele Bündchen. Whatever. I mean my favorite Brazilian recipes. These recipes, like all Brazilian cuisine, are a combination of European, African, and of course, native Brazilian. And they are delicious, and you have to try some of them. So if you're gonna try anything, this is the easiest one I'm making today. It's called queijo de coalho. Queijo, which is queso, which is cheese. I can't find the Brazilian cheese that you're supposed to make this with, but they all talk about halloumi being the next best thing. Halloumi is the best cheese to sear ever. You can put it on a hot grill, you can put it in a hot pan. It's wonderful. It's a really salty cheese, hard cheese that melts beautifully. It's really great. So I cut it into little kind of rectangles, and we're gonna throw it into a hot pan. Let's see how this works. Let's put them in. I've skewered them. And I'm hoping they'll just get really golden. Ah, look at that. It's working, guys. So traditionally, they serve the queijo with a little bit of drizzle of honey, which I love the idea, especially since halloumi cheese is so salty. But once it starts melting, it's even better. So I think that honey will really be perfect. And if you're doing it on the grill, soak the skewers, because obviously the skewers will light on fire and go away. So you'll want to soak your skewers for a few hours. I would just do it the night before if you're going to throw this on the grill. Oh, it's delicious. It's just starting. Oh my goodness. It's like a lollipop. This is so good. So I'm going to shut off the heat. All right, so a little bit of honey. And there we go. That's our queijo de coalho, I think. I kind of want to eat one, but I have to jump into this next dish. All right, so here we go. Our filling, our chicken filling has cooled. I'm going to go ahead and fill it into this short crust pastry that we've made. And I'm going to use Amanda's fingers because she's so good at this. She makes pies a lot. And she is going to show you how to pinch all the way around to make this beautiful. Let me throw all that in there. Now you want this to be filled to the absolute rim, everyone. You want as much filling as possible. So then I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't know if this is unorthodox, but I'm gonna throw a little bit of cream cheese, because when this bakes, I want the cream cheese to melt into the filling, making it even more moist, as we talked about. Moist being good, this makes it really good and moist. And then you're gonna wanna top it with this absolutely beautiful and pliable dough. Come here, girl. Do your magic. So she's bringing it together, just kind of rolling it up underneath, making kind of like a seam under, nice and even. Now you don't want it to be too thick because it'll take too long for that part of the crust to bake.
But about a ½ inch.
About a ½ inch, right. She's using her thumb on the top end and 2 fingers on the bottom to do like a pinch. And she does it quite beautifully. You can make whatever design you want, obviously, but I think something really nice and simple, because there's so much going on in the middle, that's going to be our star. I did an egg wash on this one to make it nice and shiny. So you just want an even amount of egg wash, which is basically just whisked eggs. You can add a little touch of heavy cream or a little bit of water if you want to. And then to let the steam escape as it cooks, you're just going to want to cut a little cross at the top. And that's it. So we bake this at 375. Took me 50 minutes, 50. I was watching it every once in a while though. You want to make sure that the bottom of the pie dough is caramelizing as much as the top is. It's really important that you get crispy on the bottom and crispy on the top and creamy in the middle. And when we come back, I'm going to show you my husband's favorite breakfast recipe. Welcome back to SoFlo Taste. We are doing a taste of Brazil. So for my last recipe I'm making, it's called an acai bowl. Acai, it is really a wonder fruit. It is a berry. To make an acai bowl, you take acai, which comes in, it comes in different ways. There's powders, there's frozen packets like this one in front of me. So they come in these packets, which are really convenient, and you actually need them frozen because the acai bowl, the bottom part, has to be really cold. Take the packets and you kind of just break it a little bit to get that acai softened up a touch, and I'm gonna throw them into the blender. It is not sweetened at all, which is how you want it, because you want to sweeten it with whatever it is that you like. So I'm gonna use honey. You also need something wet. You can use water. I'm using today my favorite coconut water that I happen to love the way it tastes, so I drink it a lot. But also you can use different types of nut milks or coconut milk. Almond milk is a big one that a lot of people use. So it's really up to you. I'm gonna add a banana into this and a little bit of coconut water. Not too much, just to get that blender moving. And a little bit of honey. So let's see how this does in this blender. All right, so that is the base to the acai bowl. What you do on top is totally up to you. We love granola. I love granola. I make a lot of granola. Goji berries, I always have them around the house. I love toasted coconut, so I brought that along with me. It's up to you. You make your acai bowl the way you want to, but this is the best part about it, this creamy deliciousness on the bottom. I'm gonna cut my manzanilla banana into quarters and lay that here. Then I'm going to take some blueberries, maybe put them around the side, some strawberries along here, maybe a couple of slices of papaya can go here. Mango, I've got some slices here to go in the center. And then of course the goji berries, delicious granola, and then finally a little bit of coconut, which I will stack on one side. And there you have it, the breakfast of champions. If you don't mind, I'm gonna just get a little taste in there to see how I did. Nice and sweet, yet a little tart, just delicious. As you know, these recipes from Brazil, along with everything I do here at SoFlo, is available at SoFloTaste.com and of course on our Facebook page. And we will see you in a minute, see how that pie turned out, and finish up our day from Brazil. So look how beautiful my pie turned out. I don't know what it's gonna be like on the inside. I guess let's go for it together. Feels good. I hope it's moist looking. We have success. Okay, everybody. So look at the gorgeous filling. Oof. Next Saturday, it's back to school, or more importantly, it's back to school lunches. I'll show you some recipes for your little brown baggers that you may not have thought of here on SoFlo Taste. Now stay tuned to Local 10 as the SoFlo Hour continues as design expert Martin Amado gives CPR to a lifeless living room in hopes of bringing it back to life. Next on SoFlo Home Project. Have a great weekend. I'll be waiting right here for all of you next Saturday here on SoFlo Taste. Molto obrigado e ciao. Mwah. Bunchen.